Hello and welcome to TexWired by Aman. This is episode 14. Today we are going to talk about consumerism and shopping. So to discuss this, we have Rushabh, who is a very good old friend of mine from school. Nice to have you on the show today, Rushabh.
Hi, Aman. Thanks for inviting me to your show.
So today we're only going to talk about consumerism and shopping. So I'm just going to ask you straightforward: do you shop and how much?
Of course, don't we all love shopping?
Definitely.
I've shopped quite a bit. My shopping patterns have definitely changed. The pandemic has gotten me more into the retail therapy, as they call it.
Yeah.
I've shopped quite a bit during the pandemic, and so yeah, I do shop.
And how much have your shopping habits changed from, let's say, during the school times, from shopping to uniforms to like now that you already have a job and you're earning and you have your money to spend? How much have your shopping habits changed?
It's very interesting. So actually, at school, I still remember until a very long time, my mother was the one buying me clothes.
Yeah.
I wasn't too keen on going out to shop. I think I used to go once in a year or twice in a year to actually, just change my wardrobe once in a while.
Yeah.
However, I think as soon as I entered university, everyone was kind of trying out different fashion styles, and I saw a lot of things growing around me. So I kind of got more drawn into fashion and textiles at that time.
Yeah.
I started, shopping more frequently, shopping from more places, and eventually, like I think after you start like making your own money and yeah, you're just more courageous to try new styles.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shopping gets way more frequent, and yeah, you're able to choose for yourself.
Yeah, it's interesting because in like early stages we are only buying uniforms, and uniform is like completely different segment in textile. But we get into the more casual wear, like as we normally say it, that like we get into the whole casual side of things like from college onwards. So okay, normally when we go to school or college we usually have a uniform that we have to wear, and we don't really have much room for casual clothes. Like I'm just going to keep
Right.
it normal, like polo shirts and all of that. So once you had the freedom to wear anything, do you think like like what were you attracted to first? Like what was your style?
Right. Actually, so a lot of friends who know me as the guy with the fancy shirts. I love different designs on my shirts, especially the
Prince,
ones
yeah.
with the intricate prints. And I've grown to like them a lot, and I think I've carved myself a niche where people associate me with those shirts.
Oh,
I also like don't I
quite a
really
brand
don't mind.
yourself.
That's what they call it. But yeah, I've grown to really like them, and I see myself being drawn to them more as well. Like every time I'm out to shop at H&M, Uniqlo, or our classic Platinum, I'm always drawn to these different styles because
Yeah.
um, I don't mind. I'm quite open to trying out new things. I don't mind standing out, I guess.
Right. And I think like this is like from a consumer standpoint, I think you will want to try out more because back in the day, like we could go. It was more like a traditional shopping. Online was not so much back then, so we would go to a
Right.
lot of
Yeah.
stores and like try out what's new. You get to see a lot of like you get to touch and feel a lot of the new fashion that's like in store.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, what all like brands with like did you shop? Like for me, it was like a lot of it because like it's university, right? You don't have much
Right.
money to spend anyways unless you have a side hustle. But so you
Yeah.
were usually attracted to like brands like H&M, Uniqlo, Zara, so stuff like that. So
Right.
what were you attracted to? Personally, I was attracted to Uniqlo and H&M.
Uh, right. So actually, as a matter of fact, I don't think I wore a lot of brands per se, and I never had like a specific brand preference. It
Okay.
always had more to do with what the kind of print was, how it looked. Yeah, I was more focused on the aesthetic rather than what
Hmm.
brand it comes from. If it
Yeah.
fits, I'll buy it.
Okay. It's yeah.
I
It's
shopped
yeah.
quite a bit from Platinum actually. I love Platinum till date.
Yeah, it's a store in Thailand. Yeah, I know. It's like a mall actually. Yeah. Okay, I like this one point where you said like it doesn't really matter if you like if it's a brand. I think because you have understood what your style is. So it's more like from an
Right.
inward to outward. And usually for these
Mhm.
stores, they usually have was like because they have a collection every season. Because for me it
Right.
was like if I liked some part of the collection, if like be it a shirt or like trouser or anything, then I would shop.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. I'd say, but I mean, it's quite similar in the sense that I would also kind of browse through the new lineup that they'd have. However, it wasn't the only thing that drew me because a lot of the things that I wore perhaps were out of fashion. I'm not quite sure what the latest fashion trends were, but yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, I carved out my like own likings already.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like when somebody has their own style, they are looking. So they are not only looking in the brands. And that's like you brought up platinum. So I think that was a very good topic to like cover because these are like very local marketplaces that people have around that are not branded. So there are people who they have like a certain type of style they're looking for. That's what like draws them to like in their search to like look for something new like that goes with their style. So they go and look into these like hypermarkets or like stores like platinum. So I think that's where they
Yeah.
have a lot of the benefit of like consumers like
Hmm.
you. So like what's the difference between shopping in a brand like H&M or like Zara, Uniqlo, and shopping in like such hypermarkets where like there is no concept of collection, it's just what's running, they have it in store. So
Right.
it's, they don't have anything seasoned.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It was always a hit or a miss with these stores. There'd be times I'd go there and find nothing really, and I'd just come back home because I didn't find anything that suits my taste, or just because they had not updated their stocks. I think the
Yeah.
difference would be that when you go shop at brands, you can try the clothes out and see if they fit you, see if you know how they look on you in the fancy little rooms, the trying rooms that they have, which is not a privilege you get at these hyper local markets, let's say
Yeah.
Platinum or wherever. Sure,
Yeah,
they've come
yeah,
up with their own makeshift ways to try out the clothes, but
yeah. It can be a little awkward there, but
it's a little
yeah,
awkward, and the flexibility, I guess, is just missing out there.
yeah,
But overall, yeah, I think that at these places, that it would always be a hit or a miss. Sometimes you buy something because it looks great, but then when you try it out at home, you're like, maybe not. And I actually have a whole
yeah.
a whole space in my wardrobe dedicated to clothes I wore once and just never again.
Yeah, actually. So yeah, funny story because my sister also had like a similar shopping experience because we are guys, right? It's like
Right.
maximum we have like a shirt or pants, we can just try it on right there. Like
Yeah.
like in terms of shame, it doesn't really matter to us. But then for her, if she liked a dress or something, she can't change. So I think she just has to end up shopping from a brand, and then she just ends up spending a lot more than needed. But I think yeah, that it is it's something very small, but it like considerably like kind of like how do you say uh, it influences your purchasing like at to some extent. Like she liked something and she's not sure because she can't wear it or like try it on. So she's like, okay, maybe next time or like yeah, you just leave it to next time. Right.
Yeah. I believe like as a male person, I've never looked at it from that perspective. But now that you say it, it kind of hits me that like, oh wait, yeah. If I was a girl, I probably can't like just remove my shirt and try it out at a little corner of the shop
Yeah.
out there. But yeah,
So
you're absolutely
yeah.
right.
What do you think? Like, still a lot of women still shop from these like markets that are not brands. That these
Right.
local
Yeah.
markets like night markets and stuff. People shop, especially women shop a lot from there. I think it's based.
Right.
Mostly, I think it's the price. It's really cheap. It's way too
Definitely.
cheap to even
Definitely.
think about.
And I think like as much as guys don't care about what they wear. Well, let's not say they don't care. I'm just gonna say they're not too particular about what they
What
wear.
happened to your
I think
style, dude?
females, yeah, like females, I think are more fashionable. They're always looking out for new outfits to wear, and that kind of cycling of different clothes. It definitely requires like you want to make it financially sustainable as well.
Right,
You
right,
can't
right.
be splurging say
Yeah,
2,000 baht or 1,000 baht whatever
yeah,
money on different occasions for
yeah.
sure.
So I think, yeah, so even if it something doesn't fit you perfectly, or you don't have like the chance to try it on, but you are still trying to like you just want to try it out because it's cheap and you don't have to think twice, like even if you wear it or no. Like I have few shirts, like there are like some prints that are, I don't know. I think I couldn't pull it off, I'll say, sadly. But yeah, but I have no regret about spending, like more like throwing money at it, because I thought, okay, it's something really good. And like I have like a whole perception of like my Instagram picture after wearing it, and then I came home and tried it on. Now it's like, nah, like no, just no, like no, and it's just there in the cupboard since then. So yeah, I think
Understand. Yeah. The guilt factor for buying clothes from Platinum is very little because of
yeah,
how little it costs. However, like if you're buying from brands, since you can already try it out at the stores themselves, I don't think there's little room for that kind of guilt or like a mistake while buying a
yeah,
certain shirt or pants or
yeah.
whatever.
Damn, fast fashion is really spoiling everybody.
Well, some of us like
Well,
to be spoiled.
that's why it's a therapy now. If it's expensive, that's a therapy you don't want to get, and you want to stay away from the disease that requires the therapy. So, okay, this brings me to the next point, like because it's a completely different standard of shopping from a brand and like on the street, like on these street stores. How much does quality matter to you? Like, do you even
So
like think about quality? Like, what's quality to you? Like, because there's so many different price points, and like
right.
for what you can get, and sometimes you can even get better, like good stuff for like cheaper price. So,
Mhm.
how much do you think about quality? Is that a
Um,
factor?
I definitely do think about quality. Uh, of course, like I think a perception a lot of people have for like street shopping, or I mean not even street shopping, but like just affordable shopping, I guess, especially for
Hmm.
Thailand where you have a lot of like local markets.
Right.
Um, I think there are a lot of different price points as well. You can get a shirt for 200 baht. You can also get a shirt for 500 baht or 600 baht.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I think
Fair.
the quality difference at these stores themselves is quite visible. Just like how you might go to H&M and there's a whole range of products. There's the more affordable $15 ones, and then there are the $30 ones or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think it's like the touch and feel of clothes, and I think
yeah,
the price definitely determines like how this particular fabric feels. But I
yeah.
don't think that's the only way,
Hmm.
because well,
For,
I know that for these same pieces of clothes, H&M paid like perhaps a tenth of what they're selling it for to
yeah,
like their
yeah. They have
Bangladeshi
expenses.
workers
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. But for me, I would think quality for as like I'll see the proportion, like it's more like a very subjective thing, and I just measure it like
Mhm,
subjectively. So okay, if I touch a cloth, if I touch a fabric like a shirt, and then he claims, the shopkeeper claims that it's a cotton shirt, like which is definitely not cotton, because and the price for the shirt happens to be about, let's say, like 200 baht or 250 baht, then I'm definitely sure it's not cotton, because you can't have cotton at that price point. So but I understand. So if the fabric feels nice for like 250 baht, then I'm like, okay, how much is my money worth based on the feel of the fabric? So if I touch the fabric, and then he said, okay, the shopkeeper said, okay, this is about like 300 baht, and then I'm like, okay, this feels nice, and 300 baht is something, yeah, I wouldn't mind paying for like something that feels nice. So I'm okay, this is
mhm.
quality for me. That's how I judge, like it's like, I don't know, like unspoken variables. So it's it's kind of weird, but then it makes sense to me at, like, I don't know how. So if like same thing, if I'm shopping at a brand, like we all know these brands, they have like they're getting their things manufactured from like from like Bangladesh and stuff, where labor cost is very cheap, but the retail price is so it's like quite expensive sometimes, for like, if you're comparing it to like street shopping. So, but I would still end up buying. If I go to a brand and then they're like, okay, we have a new jacket that's like cashmere, but like cashmere it's expensive and you can't get cashmere at like the price point they're selling. So there is something, you get the whole
Off
idea
about
of like this mass production. You're like, this is definitely not cashmere, but then it feels
it.
nice, and then they're like, okay, this is like 1,500 or 2,000 baht, which translate to like 5,000, but then actual cashmere costs you like 10,000. So you're like, sure,
Right.
this is good quality. So that's how
That's
I see quality for me.
fair. You definitely. I agree. I mean, I think that the middleman costs for fast fashion brands is quite high, whereas for the more local markets there isn't that high of a middleman price, which is why it's more affordable. However, I must say that for for certain pieces of clothing like let's say jeans or your innerwear and maybe your office clothes,
Yeah.
I do tend to buy more from reliable brands.
Yeah.
For office clothes, my favorite being like the
Yeah, you wouldn't mind paying
Uniqlo.
extra. Yeah.
Exactly, because that's something I find comfort in those clothes, and like let's say jeans, they are something that you don't just wear them for a year or two. You own them for a long time. So I really don't mind spending more on on a pair of
Mm.
jeans.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you're right in that I don't really have an understanding of what a particular fabric feels
Same,
like.
right. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very yeah, it's a very like, oh, I guess like, oh, this feels nice, but I honestly can't tell whether it's a
Yeah.
100% cotton or a
Ye-
60% cotton.
Yeah.
I absolutely cannot tell.
Yeah, yeah. I see like where you're coming from, because I'm in this business. So like when I was thinking about this topic about consumerism, so I was like, okay, based on like I know a lot of the things once I'm in the business, but for a consumer who is not thinking much before shopping, because a shirt costs really cheap now. So for them, how would they justify the price point, or like a quality, like without an education on what quality is, how do you like numerically, or like what's the way to understand quality? So based on that, I was like, okay, it's more about, it's this the feel factor and where you're buying from. So I think that's the, like how you mentioned about jeans last really long for you, and you really want something that's lasts really long for you. You will get like a reliable jean from like a clothing brand rather than on the street, so you wouldn't mind paying the premium for.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and that premium, then like you are satisfied that you are already getting a quality product, like there is no questions asked because something is expensive. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
because you are paying a premium for a jean that you can get on the
Mhm.
street, but then you are sure for the quality because you are paying extra.
Exactly. Yeah. I think for certain things, I guess you can tell that, okay, this is, perhaps they have a certain standard. Like, let's say you get a jean by Levi's or,
Right,
Lee.
right.
I think they have a certain, I guess, reliability factor that they've played with for a long time. So, it's some good stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
However, maybe I can't say the same about like H&M. I'm not sure if they have carved out their niche in that particular space.
Right.
So I may not get my jeans from H&M or on the street, but rather like more reliable brands.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Because these brands also, like, they are a brand, so like legally and ethically, like they do have like some standards they need to follow, which these people like night markets don't usually follow. So I'm sure like
Yeah.
you have these like a subconscious acceptance that yeah, they are definitely giving me good things. Like even though these
Mhm.
brands are polluting the most, if you look it up, but yeah,
Oh,
right.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah, because polyester and also, okay, that's like a topic for another day. So okay, talk about like quality. What draws you more, like aesthetic and comfort? Like you want jeans because it lasts really long and it's comfortable, but on the other side you are shopping
Mhm.
because you already have a style, so you want, so that's more like
Right.
aesthetic focus. So is there a way
Mhm.
like what comes first? Like I'm sure it's like balance is definitely needed, but do you think it comes
Right.
like what comes first for you sometimes?
I think there definitely is a threshold for comfort. There are certain fabrics that I
Mm,
just touch and I'm like, no, I'm not going to be wearing these because I've had a bad experience with them in the past, and that's how, like, I've kind of taught
Right.
myself as to like what is a nice feeling fabric, like what is good, what is not good for me. So I definitely think there's a certain threshold for comfort. However, if I do find something that looks very good, but in terms of
Right.
like the print or the design, but it may not look, I mean, feel that great. I sometimes am okay to make that kind of sacrifice. But
Right.
I think, yeah, like you said, there's a certain balance. But I think there's always a threshold of comfort that needs to be met when
Yeah.
I'm buying something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, it's like depends on like what you're shopping for, which is usually you never know what you're shopping for. But suppose if it's like a
yeah, you never know. Yeah,
yeah, suppose okay, if you just bought something that's like that looks really wild and the print is like something you wouldn't wear normally because it's just too it's the colors are too hyped up. And so
hmm,
if you have like an event like suppose like Halloween or Christmas coming up, and you have like night
yeah,
parties, you wouldn't care about the comfort because you're just going to wear it like for a few hours like for that night. So you're going to definitely go for
exactly.
something that's like you're gonna go party and there's chances of getting wasted and stuff. You definitely don't look forward to wearing the shirt again. So if something that looks nice but it's not comfortable and it's cheap, I think you'll definitely go for aesthetic because that's the need for the hour.
Right. I definitely think so. So like clothes that I know I'm going to be wearing for a long time, like I mentioned, like office wear,
Oh yeah.
I definitely do tend to splurge out. I don't mind splurging out on office wear or things that I'm going
Right,
to
right, right.
be wearing every day. However, like shirts that I'm wearing at a party or just like casual wear,
Yeah.
I don't mind. I don't care too much about the quality or comfort as such.
Yeah, like plain white
However,
shirts, it like comfort is needed
oh, I have
because
a standard. I have a standard for that. It's H&M and
oh, okay.
Uniqlo. I love their
Yeah, Uniqlo has
plain
good basics,
shirts
right? Yeah, I think,
for
and it's
sure.
like
Yeah.
other thing is night suit. I don't really care how it looks, but it needs to be comfortable. Like,
Interesting. I actually don't buy any night suits.
yeah, at least
I
it's just
just
old
I
clothes
just
that
use
feels
my
nice.
old clothes. Yeah, that feel comfortable.
Yeah, so
Feels
this,
like home.
yeah. So do you see there's like two extremes for like aesthetic and comfort. Like night suit, you don't really care how it looks, and like if it's a
Oh,
party night out,
definitely. Yeah.
you don't care how it feels. So
Parents have asked me to throw out my night clothes quite a few times, but I think I have a certain sentimental value attached to them.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. And the worst part about this is like, okay, if like in an Indian household, you just don't throw away things. There's always like a second use or a
Oh
third use
yeah,
for everything. So
the
nothing is got
third,
wasted. So no
I think it
problem.
goes further than that.
Yeah,
I think all Indians are familiar with the life cycle of a piece of cloth.
yeah,
The final one being where you just tear it apart fully and use it as something to absorb water in case of spills.
yeah. Who said we are not following sustainability?
I think we're the pioneers for it.
Yeah, we are creating a benchmark for other people to follow. Right. So okay, on that note, like how much do you think like fast fashion, like being like from a consumer standpoint, when you
Right.
are shopping around, like walking around, you do see like all of these clothes, changes. They have like there's sometimes there are new clothes every week in the markets. So
Right.
do you follow fast fashion? But like how much are you into like seeing what's new when it comes to shopping?
To be completely honest, I'm not. I like fashion, like I like wearing fancy things, but I'm not too much of a fashion buff in the sense that I keep up with the trends or like visit the store every so often.
Yeah.
Uh, but let's say in the event that I do happen to pass by and maybe once in 2 months, once in 3 months, I might just do a round, see if there's something interesting out there, and yeah, go ahead and maybe buy something
Yeah.
if it like catches my eye. But apart from that, I wouldn't say that I'm a large consumer of fast
Yeah.
fashion. However, like I mentioned earlier, I think that may have changed during COVID, but it has been more towards the online shopping side rather than like walking into stores.
Yeah, I think yeah. If it appears in front of you, then you're like, okay, this is new. But then if you're not like looking for it, then yeah, you might not see it. because these things require for you to be like you really need to check out the online presence of all these brands to see like okay what they're doing. But yeah, I doubt that a consumer like you is really following them like on
Yeah,
daily basis. So I
I
completely
wouldn't
see where you're coming
say.
from. Yeah. So
The only
yeah.
time I think during the pandemic, there was quite a bombardment of advertisements for clothing brands, which is
Yeah.
why I think I stumbled upon quite a few, and then I went on a splurge. They had great discounts on Zara.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently, they they closed down their physical stores around the world and really pushed for their online sales,
Right. Right.
and
Right. Right. Right.
it increased by over 70%, and I'm sure I made up for half of that.
That's like yeah, that's just a way to say a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
right.
definitely like come on, if everything is going online, these are just like unnecessary expense. I think these brands are well well equipped to like do whatever like to save cost for sure. Yeah, to begin with.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. And okay, talking about comfort and this do you go for tailoring? Like do you get stuff tailored?
Yes, but I wouldn't say for my daily wear, but it'd rather be restricted to maybe like office wearing shirts,
Yeah.
a suit, perhaps. However, lately, when during my time in Myanmar, I got an access to a really affordable tailor, so I could go out cloth shopping and get my clothes tailored, and I
Mm.
enjoyed the whole process quite a bit. It was tedious, but it was quite fun.
It definitely feels nice.
And
It seems like a privilege sometimes.
yeah, it definitely does. But the thing is, it was so cheap. I couldn't like restrict.
Like why
Uh,
not? Yeah. Taylor is seen as luxury, so why not? I'm sure like you found a good spot for it.
yeah, definitely. And I enjoyed wearing those shirts quite a bit. I had a
Yeah.
great time wearing them at parties and like at so many different spots.
Yeah. See, on the note of tailoring, what was your first experience getting like things tailored? Like what's the first thing you
Uh,
got tailored like ever?
I think it started quite young for the school uniforms because we wouldn't have.
Yeah,
We went to the
definitely.
same school, so as you might know, we didn't have like any standard uniforms. You just bought a piece of cloth and got it tailored.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
I don't
You
think
have the
I
color,
ever
yeah.
really cared. Yeah, I don't think I ever cared about like what I was wearing back then.
Yeah,
Maybe
makes
that
sense.
is the part of tailoring, right? Like
Yeah.
once you get something tailored, you're not too concerned about how it looks
Right.
because it's been tailored to you.
Right. And also the funny point about getting uniform is like back when you were in school, everybody's genetics are slightly different. So you don't know uh, how somebody is going to or like grow or like how body shape is
Oh,
going to change, because some people they just all of a sudden get really tall. So I think they definitely needs to get things tailored, and some people are just like why am I still using my last year's? So it was like somehow if you are still able
right,
to like wear
right.
your old clothes, you're like shit, I'm not I'm not growing. But
Tell
yeah,
me
just
about
so,
it. I think I was the shortest, one of the shortest guys in
yeah,
my
yeah.
grade, right?
uh, not
So
a lot of money spent on
I
tailoring, I
could,
guess.
right. So I think I could make a uniform last me at least 2 years, because I just wouldn't grow. Thank God puberty
Right.
changed that.
Definitely, definitely. Oh man. Funny. Okay. So from this, okay, as you said, like now you are shopping more online, and like how do you think online has changed your shopping behavior from like getting all these uh like convenience to try on things and like stores and trying to find like good stuff on like these night markets or like
Mhm.
platinum that you mentioned earlier. So do you think going
Right.
online has changed like much for you?
Uh, um, I do go online. However, I would say that a lot of my online clothing shopping is restricted to like maybe sportswears or something loose that I'm not too concerned about the fitting
Yeah,
for.
free size, yeah.
However, exactly. But maybe something that I care about, like how it fits me, and something non-standard, I would still prefer going to the store and buying it out in person, trying it out in person, and then buying it. Yeah, I guess that's one of my major pain points for online shopping is that you
Yeah.
can just never really be sure about the size. For sure, if it's like a large brand like maybe Zara, H&M, where you already know what your sizes are,
Yeah.
it's much easier to buy online. However, maybe for the more smaller like indie stores, I
No,
I don't really trust buying from them online because I just don't know how it will fit them, and I feel like I'm quite particular in terms of like how it
that-
fits me.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Because fit is important sometimes. Because even if something that doesn't look so nice, because it fits properly, it gets a look. Yeah. For
Yeah, and
Yeah,
mhm,
for me online personally, I think I have the same issue as you because like you mentioned it, and yeah, I think we're on the same boat with that. Because if something looks nice, I really want to buy it. Like usually, if it's t-shirts or like
right,
gym wear, like you mentioned, if that I'm happy to buy off like from online. But if it's a formal
absolutely.
shirt or like trousers, that it definitely I have to try it on. Otherwise, it's not. Yeah, I think online is not giving me the satisfaction for that. But however, like I'm not sure if you tried a lot of these online brands. You can still return your purchases, and you can still how do you say get things tailored. Like it's sort of an
Sales service.
after sale service. Yeah,
Definitely. I would love for like, maybe an option wherein I could send in my measurements and they'd, do the last bit of tailoring for me, like in terms of maybe length or just a certain corner, whatever it may
yeah,
be. But the thing you mentioned about returning the option of returning clothes online,
yeah. No,
it
just
definitely
returning.
exists.
Returning. I mean, like returning for getting things tailored, not return.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, because in terms of like free return, 30-day return guarantee, yes, those options exist, but I just find them to be like too much of a hassle. So I'd rather just walk into the store and buy a
Right.
yeah, just try it
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. The reason I ask this is because because now anyone can just start an Instagram page and start doing business. So there
Right.
are a few brands, like online brands. They have started off with giving out these tailor services. Like if you purchase anything from them and it doesn't fit you perfectly, they are happy to get things returned and then you can get it tailored like based on how you need it, and then they will send it back to you with no extra charge. So that's why I asked you, because this is something new, a new service that I think I might try out soon. So I'm just wanted to know if
Oh,
you are
wow.
aware of something like that. Like, do you think that would
I'd be
change
very
your
receptive.
experience?
Yeah, I think it definitely would. Like that being a major pain point of shopping online. I think if such an option was available with indie brands, I'd be very receptive to them for sure.
Right. I think that, yeah. No wonder these brands, like the more things are going online, there's already there's always somebody who's trying out like a new type of service, and I think this might change, and this is a very good way to how do you say get more consumers online. It's kind of like replacing the need for like typical brick and mortar stores, but it also depends on the user experience. Like if you can give the experience that you intend to, like being a brand, then I think you'll
Right.
have the sales. Otherwise it's a make it or break it, service.
Right. However,
Yeah,
I do think that these services are perhaps more tailored to a higher end of clothing because
definitely. Yeah,
I don't imagine these would be available for like relatively affordable articles of clothing, but rather a more
yeah,
high end, a premiumly priced clothes. So
yeah, fair
sure, in
enough.
terms of trying, they definitely work out, but I would think that like your physical brick and mortar stores like would not go out of business because I think
Right,
they have like their
it's
own
an
place in the
experience.
entire like
Yeah.
yeah, in the whole like shopping experience of things.
Yeah, it's a whole thing like what it's like Netflix and theaters. You can have all the Netflix you want, but theater and popcorn, I no, you can't replace. Like
Oh
personally,
yeah,
no, I would definitely want to watch Avengers in the theater, not at home.
definitely.
When
I'll
it's
in
out.
fact just go for a movie for the popcorn. You
Yeah,
know.
but it's the same thing with the brick and mortar store. It's the physical experience that
Mhm.
there is some, it can't be replaced like through online. So oh wow.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
yeah, yeah, I think that, do you think that had made like uh from these inconveniences of shopping online, do you think your purchases have reduced, or I think it's still the same?
I think I'm more open to buy online now.
Mm,
But at the same time, I don't think it has affected my behavior in terms of buying so much.
right,
Um, and also, I would say this is a little bit of a odd time. It's an anomaly because I was just home for the past few months.
right, right,
Things
right.
have
Yeah,
started to open in Singapore, so it's still okay to go into stores.
yeah,
But
fair, fair. Yeah,
before that, I was just at home, so I'd be more inclined to go online and buy. However, now that things are open, I don't think I would prefer the online shopping for normal clothes, but I'd
right.
rather walk into a
Yeah,
store.
yeah. It's fair point, because you don't require so much of your formal clothes anymore, and you're wearing casual. So if you
Oh
can,
yeah, I
like
love
as
that.
we spoke about that earlier, like anything that's like casual wear, you can just buy it online. That you are sure that it will
Exactly.
fit you somehow. So yeah, that's fair
Yeah,
point.
Shopee and Lazada for the win. Woo.
Definitely. On that note, on that joke, how much do you care about sustainability, bro?
Oh, you know me. I do
Like
care
as a
about
consumer,
sustainability
yeah. How do you
as a
think about it?
consumer.
Yeah.
I think about it in other terms. However, I'm not sure if I know how my clothing choices can affect sustainability. I know
Yeah.
the whole manufacturing and transport process consumes a lot of water, expels chemicals. But as a consumer, I'm actually not very sure how I could make a difference.
Right, right.
Perhaps you could tell us about it.
Yeah, but okay, before I start, is it like you don't know about sustainability is because like you don't think about sustainability? Is it because you don't know about you don't know about the whole concept of sustainability, or price factor really matters to you? Because if you're trying to make
Mhm.
something sustainable, then definitely it's going to cost. So especially to change.
Right.
So like you are not aware of the whole concept of sustainability that is not making you
Mhm.
choose or making you want to spend the premium for something
Right.
that's sustainable? Like which one is it? Like is it because you don't know or you don't think about it
Uh,
much?
I think it's a mixture of the two factors. So I
Right,
don't think I'm currently sustainable with my clothing choices, but I think it's because of both of those things. So I've
right,
very little clue about the parameters I can use to judge whether some piece is sustainable.
right,
And I do think that some of these companies use it as a buzzword.
right. It's just a
And
marketing word. Like how you use the word
exactly,
organic,
exactly.
like in food, it's the
So
same thing with sustainability now.
exactly. So I'm not really sure. And since there is no real standard to measuring these things, so I'm not really sure what is sustainable. And second of all, like you mentioned, the lack of affordable sustainable brands. Sure, I'm very sure there must be sustainable brands out there,
Yeah,
but they
definitely.
always come with a very high premium. And I'm not
Yeah,
sure I'm willing to pay that kind of premium to afford a sustainable choice. And well,
yeah.
I would say
It's
that
a
the
value
best
chain
way,
thing. Yeah. Supply
exactly,
chain. Yeah.
the way that I would say I'm sustainable is that I wear my clothes for a long time. I don't discard them that often.
Right,
I
right,
would wear same piece of clothing for a few few years,
right.
many months. I don't just throw them out. I really don't mind wearing them again and again.
Yeah. Okay. On that note, I ask you about sustainability because, like me, I'm in the textile business, right? So, it's
Right.
not only you. There are a few people about who I spoke about sustainability because it is something that personally I'm very interested in, and I want to like figure out like if there's anything personally on a business standpoint I
Right.
can do anything with regards to sustainability. But also when I was just talking with like you or like other people, I have noticed not a lot of people understand sustainability in like a consumer
Mhm.
standpoint. So
Right.
I did an episode like earlier about this whole sustainability and recycling. So recycling is part of sustainability
Right.
because it is just reusing, right? There's
Right.
nothing about giving back to like mother nature, so it's more about
Right.
reusing. The first part of recycling is basically extending the life cycle in one way, which is like donating to somebody, because after you there's another person who does not need to shop more. Yeah, and the
Uh,
second one is repurposing it, like how we joked about like things
mhm,
like shirts being like how you said like your shirt being used to like absorb water, like if there's a water
mhm.
spill on the table, that is like
Right.
second form of recycling. You can use that cloth only to like wipe stuff out, so that's like second part of recycling, is to
Mhm.
repurpose it. And the third
Wait.
part is like more of
Mhm.
like breaking it down, which is more of the industrial part, like how if a factory is taking back clothes and breaking it down to that's the third part.
How
Yeah.
financially viable is this factory taking it back in and breaking it down?
Yeah, why do you think sustainability is an issue?
It's not, right? No, but okay. So I mean, you speaking about all of this, but I think the very first step, like three, the
Ours.
first part
Yeah.
about the 3 R's is reduce. So the
Yeah.
first way to, I mean, yes, you are like a textile manufacturer, so perhaps this is not the best thing for you, because if people reduce their consumption, your orders are less. But like, as you know, like if you're talking about just textile podcasts, then you're saying like the first step is of course to what, reduce your overall
Yeah.
purchase.
Reduce or
And then
extend the use of it. Yeah.
yeah. So if you use it for longer, that means you're like using fewer clothes, correct?
Yeah.
So I guess you go like reduce and then reuse, what you
Yeah.
said, that
Reuse,
like if you
repurpose. Yeah.
repurpose,
Okay. Same
yeah,
thing.
yeah, and then the
And
last one,
recycle, the
recycle.
industrial part. Yeah. Then why did you say you didn't understand this sustainability?
I mean, I get it, but this is more from a general perspective, right? This is more from a
I'm
general
not editing
perspective.
this out.
Go for it. Go for it.
Right, right, right.
But anyway, like what I was wondering is that, as a consumer, right? Like when I go and buy from like H&M, or
Yeah.
no, I really want to know. So
Okay,
if
okay,
I'm
go.
going there,
Yeah, yeah.
how will I know whether my purchasing choice is, sustainable or not?
Hmm.
Or like how can I
Uh,
know if one piece of clothing is better than the other piece of clothing or
um,
not?
I'm not very like I'm not very informed about this. So I don't want to say anything wrong.
Mm.
But I'm sure if any like now sustainability is a very big thing. So if anybody is trying to do anything sustainable, you will definitely see it everywhere before the things are even in the store. So that's one way to like look, because sustainability, everybody's talking about it. So the moment a brand finds a way to do it, they are going to spend so much money on advertising it. So I'm
Sustainable.
definitely sure you will see it coming. But yeah, I think
They're already using. They're already using, right, those ocean plastic
yeah,
fibers
they're
and stuff.
they're they're recycling polyester to like recreate fabrics and stuff like that. Yeah, but I'm not
Mm.
sure how scalable or if it's being done right. I'm
Yeah,
not so sure about that. So
true.
yeah. Okay, I think
People,
like
yeah,
on that note, we have covered like a lot of topics than we planned.
for
On
sure.
yeah, before this gets any longer, I think try to summarize the whole
Oh,
episode about like consumers still uh, wanting to shop more, but there's like a change between uh, comfort and aesthetics, or like quality issues and shopping online and offline, or and
mhm.
sustainability. So I think like we covered a lot for like on a consumer standpoint. So
Right.
on that note, I think that will be the end of today's episode. Thank you, Rushabh, for coming and being a consumer on the show.
Thanks for having me over, Aman. A nice conversation.
Right,
Thanks a lot.
definitely. Yeah, I think having you on the show was awesome. Might look forward to having you again someday soon.
For sure.
Yeah. On that note, I hope today's episode earned your like and subscribe. And until then, I will see you next week in the next episode. Thank you.